We keep things rolling here on the Sports Cubicle. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. I want to thank you so much for making us a part of your day. So I'm sure you have heard a bunch of different opinions, a bunch of different hot takes, a bunch of different nonsense and word salad about this past Super Bowl 58 as the San Francisco 49ers can't hold on to a 10-point lead and lose to the Kansas City Chiefs as Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce win their third Super Bowl, their second straight, 25-22. And it was a very slow, defensive, sloppy game the first 2.5, 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter came around and the game really picked up because it had the most stakes, right? It's the Super Bowl, the last game of the year. That in itself is enough drama. And when you have a close game, it ramps it up to a 9 and a 10. And then we get to overtime where there are so many different storylines we could go from that point on. And so many stories and pivot points and moments that we can point out in this year's Super Bowl. And I'm sure you've heard a bunch of them over the last 48 hours. So I'm going to give you my review of Super Bowl 58 in 1 minute or less, starting right now. Brock Purdy going 23 for 38, 255 yards, and 1 touchdown, avoiding the huge mistake through the air. Christian McCaffrey, 22 carries, 80 yards, also with 8 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown. I'm surprised they did not find more for George Kittle to do. I'm surprised they did not find more for Brandon Ayuk to do. I'm surprised they did not find more openings in the defense, that Brock Purdy wasn't able to get the ball to them, and it definitely impacted the way the defense was out there for San Francisco for so long. And on the other side, Patrick Mahomes, 34 for 46, 333 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and an MVP. He also rushed for 9 carries and 66 yards, 66 pivotal yards, dangerous yards, yards that changed the game, first downs that changed momentum, and sealed moments that were going to solidify a Super Bowl championship for him and the Kansas City Chiefs. Travis Kelce, 9 receptions, 93 yards, with only 1 target in the first half. Ends up with 10 targets total, with 9 receptions and 93 yards for Travis Kelce, and Mecole Hardman with the huge touchdown to win the game. But whether it was Kyle Shanahan deciding to receive the ball to start overtime, giving Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the Kansas City Chiefs, allowing them to touch the ball last to determine how the game was going to end, how big of a mistake was that for Kyle Shanahan? Andy Reid not getting Travis Kelce involved early in the game, and Travis Kelce having that big eruption on the sideline with Andy Reid. We can spotlight fumbling the ball, something he rarely does in the biggest stage, or Pachenko doing the same thing on the opposite side, and how that impacted the way the Kansas City Chiefs will run the ball the rest of the game. All these different storylines that played out after all the analysis, after all the speculation, after all the guessing, after every one of those moments happened in the game, it still came down to Patrick Mahomes getting the ball for the final drive of the game with the Super Bowl on the line and being perfect, whether it was decision making or that crazy gutsy fourth down call. All we saw was Patrick Mahomes deliver time after time after time, not only solidifying himself in the history books of the NFL, but also making a definitive statement that whatever argument you have for another team playing against Kansas City, the counter will always be, but they don't have Patrick Mahomes.